So our product owners out there need a little help, and it usually comes to the reality of prioritization or ordering of the product backlog. What would you advise? How would you get a product owner off to a good start here? How can they prioritize effectively?
I've got a couple ideas for this. I'm going to start real tactical with some techniques that I've used. I've worked with some product owners before who just could not decide what was most important or where to begin. And as an outsider to what they were doing, because I was coming in kind of cold, I looked at their product backlog and I started pointing at things and I said, "What if we don't do this? What if this item on your product backlog that maybe it's a single item, maybe it's a whole set, maybe it's even a whole product goal. What if this isn't there? How could we move forward?" And and if you start to facilitate those conversations, you can get some real out of the box thinking. Like it might be like, "Oh, we have to have I'm going to go with e-commerce for a second. We have to have a way to facilitate returns on our website." It's like, "Do we? What if we have an email address that says returns at acmecorp.com? Like, could we get away with that for a little while? We probably could. Forever? No, but we could get away with that for a little while. So that's probably not the most important thing, and start to work your way up that way and try to whittle it down to what is the most important thing for us to do right now. That can help you get started with some prioritization.
Yeah, and actually, I mean, I play product owner for the tool we build internally, and
Yep.
an activity I just went through recently was looking really, really at a high level. What are the top 5, top 10 areas of this solution? What's the value amongst them? For example, let's say you're building a customer relationship management tool. You've got a whole area on reports for the sales managers. Maybe you have a whole area that deals just with automation about reminders for upcoming appointments you might have with a customer, or hey, follow up with Johnny from 6 weeks ago. These are two different areas of your system. Which one is more important to focus on now? The next step I would say to go to is, well, who are your customers? Are you really focusing on sales managers and their problems? Then maybe you spend more time enhancing these reports. Is it the actual salespeople doing the work? Then maybe you would focus more on that automation and making their lives easier. So you got to understand who benefits from your work and what are the major areas of your solution. And you might start to realize when you look at this big picture, like there are areas that just, yeah, they need to be there, but do we need to spend many, many, many sprints working on them? Or can we just spend maybe 10 cents worth of effort on those while we spend 90 cents on some of these other things? But that you can only know that when you look at a high level and know who your customers are.
I'm going to be a broken record. Product goals, my friend. Here's the thing, though. Product goals don't make a whole lot of sense to people that I teach, and it's kind of weird. It's like, we need a product goal. Like, yeah, we don't have that. We just have a product backlog with a mess. And then I kind of back out and say, so let's imagine for a moment we're going into your product backlog, and it's full of road trip directions and instructions, like go get gas, take a left turn, go straight for 200 miles, eat at McDonald's, whatever. You've got like all these things that are instructions to a road trip, and everyone's just like busy saying, I'll take the 2 left turns. Somebody else is like, I'll fill up with gas this sprint. And nobody knows what's happening. And then finally, somebody's just like, wait a minute, where are we going? There's this giant question of where are we going? And I want to challenge product owners to, if you can't imagine what your product looks like 3 months out from now and the value associated with that destination, you're going to have a whole lot of difficulty prioritizing your work. Because I think the question is embedded with a misnomer that prioritization of work means, is this task more important than this task? There's a lot of that may go on, but I would argue that if you know where you're going, a lot of that will organically fall into place because you've got to do certain things before other things. Find value along the way. And if you've got a long road trip, 3 months out there, is there ways to get value every step of that trip? Because that's your challenge. And so prioritize, think out in the future, what is that value that you're shooting for, and take those incremental steps called sprint goals that will get you there. Anyway, that's my thought.
Goals.
Hey, thanks for watching that video. Did you like what you heard? If so, you're going to love our Scrum classes. See, not only do we talk about these ideas on YouTube, we're also professional Scrum trainers, and we'd love to have you in one of our classes. So if you need to level up as a Scrum Master or a product owner, maybe you need to learn how to scale Scrum or combine Kanban or UX with Scrum, Click the link in our description and you'll find a list of our upcoming classes.
If you like this video, just leave us a comment. And if you got some positive feedback, we'd love to hear it. And if you've got some negative feedback, well, we'd love to hear that too.